In this video, we're going to cover Blanket Pro Forma Order functionality within Advanced Requisition Management. Blanket Pro Forma Orders, also referred to simply as blanket orders, blanket purchase agreements, or even call-off orders, are purchase orders established with a specific supplier where pricing is negotiated and agreed upon in advance for use over a defined period. At the outset, a total approved amount and an active period are established. Once the Blanket Pro Forma order is approved and active, releases can be made against the balance as needed until either the full amount is consumed or the order reaches its expiration date. A receipt line is automatically generated with each release. On the left-hand side, select the App Launcher icon and navigate to Blanket PFOs. This opens the Blanket Pro Forma Orders screen, which displays both current and historical blanket orders in the system. Filter options at the top of the page help us refine our search. The columns provide key information at a glance, including the blanket order status, the supplier, the corresponding kinetic purchase order number, and the start and end dates for this blanket order. Now, let's create a new blanket order. A Blanket Pro Forma order begins as a requisition. Unlike a traditional requisition in ARM, however, a Blanket Pro Forma order request is created specific to a supplier. Additionally, the requisition is not raised for items or parts, but instead as a single non-catalogue line, which will reflect an overall agreed amount. From the ARM home screen, select Add to create a new blanket order. This takes us to the requisition screen where we enter the details of the blanket order. Provide a name for the blanket order, define the valid date range, and select the supplier it applies to. Next, select Non-Catalogue Line. Enter a description. Choose the appropriate category or part class. Select the supplier and specify the total value of the intended Blanket Pro Forma order. Once fully approved, the blanket order is created and is ready for use. You can access it at any time by selecting the App Launcher icon and navigating to Blanket PFOs. When you open the newly created Blanket Pro Forma order, the header section clearly displays the total approved amount, the supplier, and the valid start and end dates. Further down the screen, a single line displays the full approved amount along with the current remaining balance. As releases get processed against this Blanket Pro Forma order, the remaining balance will automatically decrease. To create a release, navigate to the line detail, enter the amount to be released, and select Release. Each release is recorded with a date and a description, and notes can be added or edited at any time after the release is created. Once the release is saved, the remaining amount updates automatically. Expanding the line using the arrow displays the details of the most recent release, including the description and any notes entered. This process of releasing can be repeated as needed until either the full approved amount is consumed or the blanket order reaches the end of its valid period. Note that blanket order amounts and dates cannot be altered directly. However, the Append Requisition option allows a Blanket Pro Forma order to be updated by approving and linking subsequent requisitions to it. For example, if we wanted to increase the blanket order amount by $1,000, we would click Append Requisition and create a new requisition for $1,000. Once this requisition is approved, it adds a second line to our existing Blanket Pro Forma order. By default, the new requisition links to the Blanket Pro Forma order that it was just launched from, and as such, the dates cannot be modified. However, if we uncheck the Append to Existing PFO box, we can modify dates, but the approved requisition will then be created as its own separate and unlinked Blanket Pro Forma order. Note also that clicking the Append checkbox again gives us the option to reappend this requisition, although this time we can choose from any other existing open Blanket Pro Forma order currently active with that vendor. Blanket Pro Forma orders appear as purchase orders in Kinetic. The initial line on the Blanket Pro Forma order is represented in Kinetic as an open PO line. When an amount gets released against the Blanket Pro Forma order in ARM, an equivalent order line is created and instantly received in Kinetic, which in turn updates the initial open PO line to reflect the remaining total balance. Blanket Pro Forma orders let you pre-approve spending with a supplier and release funds as needed. Each release updates the remaining balance automatically, and everything is tracked in Kinetic for easy monitoring. It's a simple, efficient way to manage recurring purchases and keep control over your spend.